Hey guys, Ray from lovetherv.com. So I'm back with another minor repair. My awning switch stopped working. Right here, the manual switch. The remote worked fine. So the problem is with the switch. About a couple of years ago I had a problem with this switch. And I took it apart, disassembled the switch, and cleaned the contacts, and everything was happy again. Now I'm getting another problem with it where it just won't operate. If I push in or out on the awning, it just kind of clicks. I can tell voltage is getting there, but it's not enough to move the awning. So I'm just going to disassemble back here and do some testing. So I'll show you how this switch is wired. You know, it's got the in and out awning there. So let's just pull this plug off and check it out. Okay, so here's the plug. You can see there's 6 terminals there, and what's happening is power is being brought in to the center. The green and the yellow are positive and negative coming out of the rig. You can see them hooked to these white wires here. One is white with a purple stripe, that's the positive 12 volts, and then the pure white is the negative 12 volts. So that's going into the center there. So when you switch it one way, it just switches the polarity the same to these black and red wires here, and you got positive and negative. I guess red would be probably positive in that case and black negative. But if you switch it the other way, you see these other black and red wires, how they're kind of crisscrossed there. So when you switch it the other way, the polarity gets reversed, so it sends off negative to one side and positive to the other, so that the motor goes backwards and reels back in. So that's how that works. And the switch is okay, because what I did is I measured my voltage coming into this switch, and it was 13.3 volts. I got those new lithium batteries, and the solar's going, so I have lots of solid DC power coming in. But going out, I went to measure my output, and I just stuck my multimeter leads into these 2 crimp connectors, and suddenly everything worked. So that leads me to believe that the issue was with the crimp connectors here, and these white ones they use, you know, they just go along clank, 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 clank as they're building the rig. Sometimes they probably don't get quite a good crimp on it. So obviously over time, maybe one of the connections is oxidized, created a little bit of high resistance in the crimp connector, and then suddenly the awning doesn't work properly. So what I'm going to do is replace these OEM crimps with my own butt connector crimps in there. That should solve the problem. We'll see. Okay, there we go. Fresh crimp connections on there. Let me show you the crimps I used. Just use these butt connectors that have a heat shrinkable coating on them, and then used a heat gun to shrink them once they were on. I could have also used these things called lever nuts. I showed you those in another video. I'll link to that. It's sort of a really quick connection for people who don't want to use a crimper. But in this case I decided to use these. They call them butt connectors or barrel crimps. Okay, let's give her a try. Retract. Yeah. Extend. Good, seems to be working again. So that's a little tip for you. Obviously mine, they use 2 different circuits here, so when this manual button didn't work, the remote worked. And I found that also the case with my landing jacks. So it's a good tip if, say, your remote doesn't work and you have manual, give it a try, and vice versa. Anyway, till next time, Ray from lovetherv.com. Cheers, everyone.